We'll do enough mutter in the daf tonight, so we can be yotze that way. All right, bottom of Yud Aleph Amud Beis. Yeah, 3 lines up. 3 lines up from the bottom. So tonight is basically all about Yetzias Mitzrayim and what went on in Mitzrayim with Moshe Rabbeinu, and then with well, the first part is about Sukkim and Divrei Yomim. All the different names are really the same people, which can get a little bit confusing. And then the rest is all about Moshe Rabbeinu and how he survived in the Yam Suf with the going in the basket, etc., etc. Anyways, so Kalev ben Chetzron, Hoyled as Azuva Isha. Kalev ben Chetzron, and Hoyled as Azuva Isha had a son, gave birth actually Azuva and Isha, ve'es Yirias and Yirias, ve'ela banah, and these were the kids Yashar, V'shaiva, V'ardan. Okay, so when it says ben Chetzron, Kalev wasn't ben Chetzron, Kalev was ben Yefunehu. Right? We all know Kalev ben Yefuneh. Ask any kid, what was his father's name? Yefuneh. So what's Chetzron? Ben Shepana me'atzas miraglim. It's the son who turned away from the atzas miraglim, right? So that's why they called him Ben Yefuneh, but that wasn't really his name. So the Gemara says Vakati Ben Knazu, right? But he was Ben Knaz. Dichsiva Yilkada Asniel Ben Knaz Achi Kalev. Right, Asniel ben Kenaz, who was Kalev's brother, so his name was Kenaz. So now we have 3 options for names for the father of Kalev: Kenaz, Yefuneh, and what was the other one? Chetzron. So Amarava Chorgoy de Kenazu. He was actually a stepson of Kenaz. Right? Meaning they were brothers from the mother. They weren't brothers from the father. On Tamar Aleph now. Dekanami Dirsiv Haknizi. It's a meduya because it says Haknizi. Right, so Shmami know that maybe he was called Knizi. Why didn't he say Ben Kenaz? Why was it called Knizi? So Shmami know that it must be that it was just brothers from the mother. Fine. Azuva zu Miriam. Azuva is Miriam. V'lama nikra Shma Azuva shakol azvua mitchilasa. Shakol azvua mitchilasa. Everybody left her in the beginning, meaning she was not healthy, so she couldn't find the shidduch. Hoylid, then it says Hoylid v'aloi minsav, v'aloi minsav haven nasivla. What do you mean? He says he did marry her, right? He got married to her. So anybody who marries a woman l'shem shemayim, it says if he gave birth to her, right? Which is interesting, and that's how you understand the pasuk on the bottom of the previous amud. I mean, that's what it is, because you married a girl because of the Shem Shemaim. So that's as if you gave birth to her. I guess you gave her life, right? Yeah, okay. Rabbi Gamliel Rabinovich writes, has a whole shtickle in his Tiva Shidduchim. We're ready to go already? Oh man, about maybe. I can't drive.
You can't drive. Yitzi has to drive. So get those sit on the front.
Hold on a second. Hold on. I'm starting. You hear me?
Where's the what's
The
Lincoln?
right there was arrow. Okay, I apologize. Anyway, so Gamliel Rabinovich has a whole shtickle that it could very well be that you're just supposed to marry a woman because of chesed that you're supposed to do, having nothing to do with your goals in life, etc., etc. But I don't think that's a very American attitude towards marriage. But either way, if you do marry a woman from l'shem shemayim, then it's as if you gave birth to her. Fine. Urias. So what does it mean, Urias? Shahayu panea diamond Urias. Her face was similar to Urias. What is Urias? Curtains. Because she was very light. Her complexion was very light. Ve'ela banea. These are her sons. Al tikri banea. Ella baineha. Not baneha, but those that build her. Fine, Yasher, Yasher is Atmai, right? That he made himself straight, that he didn't listen to any of the other miraglim, not the other miraglim, but the miraglim Shoivev, Shashiv is Yitzray, that he sat down his Yetzirah because he again didn't go with the what do you call it? The miraglim, Va'ardon. Sharada is Yitzra. Again, he pushed down his Yetzirah. Yigadarmi al Shahayu Panea Diamond Levered, because her face was now similar to a rose. Ula Ashchor Avi Sikaya Hayushtei Nashim. And then we're going to continue with this is another weiter pasuk about Kaleb. And Ashchor, whose father was Tekaya, had two wives, Chala and Naira. Ashchor Zeh Kaleb. Ashchor was Kaleb. Ashchor. Why is his name Ashchor? Shehushcharu Panov Betinius, because his face was black because he fasted so much. Avi Shanasala Ka'av. The Avi means because he became like her father to Miriam's father, because I don't know if she Lamaisa had a disability or she didn't have a disability, but that's what it seems. Right? Tekua. What's Tekua? Shatakas Liba Lavish of Shemayim, that he put his heart he stuck his heart out for Hashem because he went against the Meraglim. Fine. Hayushtein Nashim. So he had two wives. Nasim Miriam Kishtei Nashim. Miriam was like two wives to him. Chala v'Naira. Loi Chala v'Naira Havai. Not that she was Chala and Naira, meaning she wasn't two people at once. Ela betchila Chala. Beginning she was sick. Ulevasayf Naira, and then she had a miraculous recovery after he married her. Fine. Ubenei Chala. Teretz v'tzayar none the kids were teretz v'tzayar not tzaras shenasid tzara l'chavrisa. They became tzaras to each other, right? Because since they were, that's what from Yavamis, right? When they were competing wives, so they're called tzaras. Tzayar shoyu paneh doimin ketzarayim. Her face was shining like the afternoon. And esnan shekola roya isa moiled esnan leishtay. Anybody who saw her, she was so beautiful. So then he decided that he has to be nice to his wife also. So now we're going back to, now we're done with Kalev and all his various names. Now we're back to the story with Pare. So Pare commanded his whole nation. Some of Yosef Chanina, Af al Amoy Gozer. Pare even made a gezerah on the Mitzrayim to kill the kids, which we'll see as we continue through the Gemara here. There were three gzeros that Paroi did. There were three. It went in the order of three gzeros. Betchila in Ben Huva Misanosai. Right? If it's a son, then kill him. He told the midwives, if it's a boy, kill him. Then he said, if there's a boy, then put him into the drown them. Well, Besoif, Af al Amoy Gozer, and in the end, he was even Gozer on the Mitzrayim, right? Because he wasn't sure. The astrologers kept telling him all different things, and he wasn't sure what was going on, so he had to try and get rid of every boy. There was a man that came from Beis Levi, right? That was Amram, and he married Yocheved. Lahechon Holach. What does it mean? He went. Amar Yehuda bar Zvina shahalach ba'atzas bitoy. He went with the eitzah of his daughter. What does that mean? Tana Amram Gadol Hador. Amram was the Gadol Hador. Kivan Sharar. We'll be good as this. Kivan Sharar Shamar Pari Harasha. Which is an interesting thing. Here you see he's called Pari Harasha. Right? Normally we all the other Rishayim we refer to them as Rishayim, but well, we don't refer to Achashverosh as a Rasha, Haman or Rasha. I don't know. So here he refers to Pari as a Rasha. So since the Rasha said Kol haben hayilad hayorat tashlichu, since the Rasha said that all sons should go into the river, Amar lashav anu amelim. So we're not being humble for anything. I mean, why are we having kids? If the kids are going to die anyways, so then why are we having kids? Which is a great big shaila of if the person knows that the kid is going to die. So, well, I mean, does he really have to put himself into that type of situation? Right? Yecheskel, that's the whole thing what happened with Yecheskel. Right? He got punished for it because he saw that his kids are going to be messed up, so he didn't have kids.
Chizkiyo.
Sorry, of course, because I knew there was something wrong that came out of my mouth. Yeah. So anyway, so Amram decided, well, there's no point in having kids. So Amar v'girish es ishtay, so he too. Amar lay pitay. So his suffix miskayemes gzerosa. It's a suffix where the para is gzer is going to be suffix and miskayemes. Ata tzadik bevadishik gzeroska miskayemes. Your gzer is definitely going to fly. Should never Vatigzar and the Vatigzar. I'm sorry, Visigzar, Oimer v'Yokem Lach. Right? If you say a gezerah, then it's gonna work. Amar v'Hichzer as Ishtay, so he got up and he took back his wife. Amdu Kulam v'Chziras and the Shasayan. They all got back and they married their wives. So that's what happened. Okay, so now I know I shouldn't go down this road, but we have to have a little bit of Litzanis in middle of the daf here. So there are those that are tining on Lakewood because of the whole shidduch crisis, right? They're worse than Pare. You ever heard this? Because the age gap. So Mamela, if you're pushing off the shidduchim by 3 months, so you're as bad as Pare, if not worse. Those are some of the lines that are being thrown at the Lakewood Rosh Hashivas. All right, fine. Nobody has any comment, then I'm gonna move weiter. Fine, Vayikach.
If it's too easy, you're setting everybody up for that one.
Okay, listen, you know what? I just want to make sure nobody's sleeping. That's all.
They don't have to go to Lakewood.
You don't have to go to Lakewood?
You don't want to wait 3 months. You don't have to go to Lakewood.
Okay, that's okay. I hear that. Fine. Vayikach he took. Yeah, Vayachsar mibayle. It shouldn't say Vayikach. He didn't take her. He took her back. Right? So Amar Yehuda bar Zvinim she'asa like Maisa likuchen. He did a Maisa likuchen, meaning he mamish made a whole chasana, a yeshiva ba'paria, and he put her in like a chuppah. Aaron and Miriam, and Aaron and Miriam danced in front of her. Right? Umalache Asharis Amru Ema Banim Smecha, that they said Ema Banim Smecha because it was whole remarriage. So the Gemara says Es Bas Levi, right? After Bas Meo Shloishim Shana Havi Vikarli Bas, she was 130 years old. So you're calling her Bas? She was already an old lady. We had this couple blot ago. This is talking about Yechevet, who was the pregnancy happened on the way down to Mitzrayim, and they gave birth. She gave birth. She was born in Mitzrayim. She was born in Mitzrayim, but she wasn't. She wasn't conceived in Mitzrayim. Right, so whatever it is, she was an old lady. Some of you should know the Basimane Nairis. No, what happened is that she got younger, sort of the same thing as Sarah. Right? That she got physically younger, which the Mefarshim also ask on this. So how come the Torah doesn't make a big deal about? I mean, the Torah made such a big deal, or Sarah made a big deal about that she was going to have a baby at 90. Right, and here you have Yocheved having a baby at 100 and 130.
When did she get married? When did she get married the first time?
I don't know.
How long were Amram and her married?
How long were they? They had to have been married. Well, they had already 2 kids. They had Aaron.
Well, Aaron was 10, and so she was 117. She was a young chickie running around at 117. When did they get married?
I don't know. Does anybody have any idea on this?
I don't understand. What's the question?
Meaning, how big?
How big a what?
How big a nace was this? No?
I mean, from which perspective?
Meaning this second part sounds like at 130 she got remarried, even though we're going to see in the Gemara in a minute she was already pregnant. Once he divorced her, she was already pregnant, but she grew younger, etc., right? That sounds like that was a nace, but what Rabban is asking is that Aaron was how old? 5, 7?
6. It was 3.
Okay.
So how old was she when how
Oh,
was it
when they were born.
when she was 125, whatever it
Right.
is. So
Right.
how old was Amram and Yocheved when they first got married? Did they get married when they were 16 or 12 or 11 and they were married for 100 years without children? Or did they get married when she was 125?
Right. I don't know. Write this down for your Seder next year.
Right.
I don't know. Okay. If anybody ends up finding out, please give a holler. Anyways, Vatara Isha Vatelet Bain. So then she became pregnant. She had a son. She was already pregnant for 3 months. So what is it? It sounds like she got pregnant then. We're going to compare the birth to the pregnancy. Just like pregnancy happens without pain. Also was a mitzar mikan lenoshim tzidkanias bepiska shelchava. The noshim tzidkanias do not have the piska, right? This is from the word where the word piska toiva comes from. That they don't have birth pains like Chava had. So she was a tzaddikus. So that's what it means. Vatera isa kitoiv, and they kitoiv. When he was born, they saw that Moshe Rabbeinu was toiv. Tani Ramei Reimer toiv shemai. But Moshe's name was Toiv. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer Toiv Yashima. His name was Toiv Yah. Rabbi Nechemia Aimer Hagan Linavius. What it meant is that he was proper for him to be a navi. Others say he was born with a bris. When Moshe was born, the whole house filled up with light. It says they saw him and she saw that he was good. So therefore, we learn out that it means that the whole house lit up. Either way, those are all the shatim for Toiv. But so they hid him for 3 months. The Laimanu Mitzrayim Elam Mishal Tahadra, because the Mitzrayim knew that, or were chayshid, that he might have a baby boy and that this is going to be the savior of Klal Yisrael. So, but once she got remarried, they figured they have 9 months, right? But she was already 3 months pregnant when Amram remarried her. So they didn't realize that she had the baby full term. They thought they weren't looking for that. So they hid him for 6 months. She was already pregnant for 3 months before this. So, but at 3 months, she couldn't hide him anymore. So, why not? Why can't she just hide him and keep going? Anytime the Mitzrayim heard that somebody had a baby, they would bring a baby near the house. They would, so that she'd hear the baby crying. That it helped that they grabbed onto us these small foxes. So basically what that means is that the Mitzrayim took their babies and they would make their babies cry. And when one baby hears another baby cry, so then the baby starts crying. So that was sort of like their way of finding the hidden babies. Right. So that's why after 3 months she could no longer hide it. Meaning for the first 3 months, the Mitzrayim thought she wasn't due yet. So they weren't concerned that she had a baby. Once it was the 9th month, so the Mitzrayim would do this way of trying to find out if there's a baby there, so she could no longer hide. Right now,
The mother's mother had my aunt, the youngest one, on the way to America. They had no papers for her, so my bubby kept her under her skirts on Ellis Island, and they didn't find her, the baby.
You serious? At what age?
She was a baby. They left Ukraine, and they were in Lemberg for living in the basement of a shul for a year till they got papers. He sent away for papers in America. They got the papers. His wife wasn't pregnant. He didn't have that child. Then they had that child. They didn't know what to do, but they I guess they had been talking. They were left for America anyway with a baby with no papers. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Okay, so there's precedence. um, yeah, but Rashi and Chumash, I think, says that Moshe was born after 6 months.
Yeah.
Remember that? Does he
Yeah.
bring this? Does he bring this other pshat too, or he just goes with the 6 month pshat? Am I unfrozen yet?
There you go.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I think I chopped that. I was frozen fine. But tikach like tevas goima, and she took a basket made out of how do you call it? Goima.
Wicker.
Wicker, they call it wicker, but wicker's got to be made out of something. Is wicker okay? I don't straw, something like that. Maishna goima. Why goima? Amar Rabbi Elazar mikal tzadikim shemamayim chavalim yosem migufan. Right, another very interesting line. For tzadikim, their money is worth more than their bodies. V'chol kach lama, and why? Why would they care about their things?
Must be in the tunnel.
Where's he
Where's
coming
it?
from?
I'm kidding. Those days are over with the tunnel. They have service in the tunnels now. No, Rabar, you don't remember those days? I'm going into the tunnel. I'll call you soon.
That's 100% sure.
Uh-oh.
It's as if you were never gone.
Yes, wonderful.
Oh, Peretz.
Anyways, okay, so why is tzaddikim's money more chaviv to them than their guf? Because they don't want to become crooks. When you have a lot of when you have a lot of needs, and then you need money. Which, if you look at the Bir Halacha at the end of Hilchos Yom Tif, when he talks about the sugya of spending on Yom Tif and Shabbos Yom Tif, you get all the money back, he goes to a whole musar about not spending extra. If you spend on extra, then you end up becoming a crook, right? And yeah, so that's basically based on this type of Gemara. Fine. Reb Shmuel ben Nachmani Amar, Davar Rach, something what the Gaima Tevas Gaima was something soft. Sheyochal Lama V'nei Davar Rach V'nei Davar Kosher. If something's flexible, then it'll withstand a lot of pressure because it's flexible, and it'll also, and obviously with something soft. So if it's flexible, the basket, so therefore it's going to be safer. They would make it out of wood, so then it'll break easier. That's what we do with the Erev string. If you make the Erev string too tight, it snaps easy. You make it too loose, then it sags. You got to try and find the middle ground.
Sweet spot.
Fine. The sweet spot. There you go. Yeah, but Tachmara, I don't know if the Olam knows what that's talking about, but okay. But Tachmara b'chaymer v'zefes, and they lined it with chaymer and zefes. What do you call it? Clay, tar, tana, chaymer b'fnim v'zefes mibachutz. It was clay on the inside and with the tar on the outside. So that Moshe Rabbeinu wouldn't have to smell the bad smell. A tosam basa, yellow a tosam basuf, and they put the baby in it, and they put it in the suf, right? So Rabbi Elazar, I'm a Yamsuf. This was the Yamsuf. Nachmeni Omar, I'll tell my base now. Agam. It wasn't the Yamsuf. It was a marsh. It was with with reeds and all that. Kidasiv, kana v'suf, kamila. Right, the kana and the suf, it's going to get weak. But tered bas pare, lirchutz alayar. So now now he's in the basket. Now we're on to bas pare. So bas pare went down to wash in the yar. Amr yachim shum shum yichayim malamed. She the lirchutz meglule avia. She went to wash herself off from her father's avodah zarah. V'cheinu oimer em rochat Hashem es tzayas b'nai tzion. If Hashem will wash the from the b'nai tzion. So you see that could be a rechitza from avodah zarah. And her nairas, right, her helpers went with her. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, ein halichas zu ela lashon misa. The word halichas here is a lashon misa, because they deserved misa because they were going to convince her out of trying to take Moshe Rabbeinu. I'm going to die. So the word hailech is a lashon of going towards death. So she saw the teva in the suf. Given the chazal the Kabbalah Sule Moshe, once that they saw that she wanted to save Moshe, Amrullah, they told her, Virtenu, our like Yeveret, our boss, Min Hagash Alayla, Melech Basar V'Dam, Gaizik Zera, a Melech Basar V'Dam, a human king makes Xera. Im Kalaylam Kula Ein Mekayma, if the whole world doesn't listen to it, but at least the kids have to listen. And you're going to be over in the Xera because your father wants all the boys to die, and you're going to save it. So Gabriel came and knocked them down into the ground and wiped them out and killed them so that she wouldn't listen to them. She put out her arm and she took them. One says that it was her hand that she stuck out, and one said she sent the shifcha. The one that says it was her hand, because it says amasa, and amma, that's the length of an arm, is an amma. Because it didn't say the word yada. Final the one that says shifcha, didn't we just say that the Gabriel killed all of them? It's not going to be a shifcha. So my answer, the shayla chada, there was one left over, the lav orcha, the bas malka, la make him the chuda, because it's not the derech, it's not derech eretz to leave a queen, or a daughter of a queen, or a daughter of a king by herself. Fine. When I asked, yada lichtav yada, why didn't it say yada if it means her hand? So Kamash Malon, and this is the more popular shot. The starve v'shturve, her arms stretched out. Damamar v'chein ata ma'ita v'masa shabas parei. Right, because Mar said v'chein ata, that you also have a case where with the arm of bas parei v'chein ata ma'ita v'shine rishayim. The same thing you find with the teeth of rishayim. That's the Gemara in Brachos that talks about Oig, who uprooted mountains with his teeth. His teeth grew so long. The siv shine rishayim shibarta. The teeth of rishayim break. From the shakash al tikri shibarta ella sher rivavasa. Right, that gets stretched out. So that's what it means. Your star means that she stuck out her arm very far. Okay, that's the shot that most go with. Fine. But Tiftach with was she opened it and she saw a child, a baby. It should see and saw. Why is it safe at Tirehu? She was able to tell that the Shechina was with him. And there was a baby crying there. Karile Yeled, the Karile Nar. One time he was called a Yeled, one time he was called a Nar. So which one is it? Tana hu Yeled, the Karile Kanar. He was a Yeled, but his voice was like a Nar. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. If that's the case, he made him into a Balmum because he's a Levi, and if it's a Levi is a young kid, a young child, and sounds like an adult, so then that's not going to be very nice voice. So now you made him into a Balmum. What she did is she made her mother, his mother, made like a chuppah in the teva. Amra shemaloi eske l'chupase. I'm not going to be zaycha to a chuppah to see my son go to the chuppah, so therefore I'll make him a chuppah now. Has to make you wonder exactly what that's all about. So she's not going to be able to go bring her child down to the chuppah. I guess it was turbulent times, as they call it. So therefore she made him a chuppah in the box. Right? I don't know. Okay, but Tachmal Allah, and she had Rahmanas on him. But timer Miyalda Ibn said, this is a Jewish child. We know Yalda, how did she know it was a Jewish child? I say, "Mo, because she saw he had a bris." Like what we said before, he was born with a bris, but she saw he had a bris. Zeh, right? What does it mean? Zeh. Amar Rabbi Yochanan Malamed, shenis nava sh'teloi midaita. She Bas Paroi had nevius without even being aware of it. Then neifel vein acher neifel. Right? Because basically what she said is that this baby fell into the water. There's going to be no more boys going into the water. Why? Because if people say to you, dear that you should go look into the Ivis and Yadanim, meaning these those are the people that see the future, Hamatzaftifim, Vamahagim, and those that Mitzaftif means they chirp, and Mahagim is those that talk. Seifin ve'enam yodim at seifin, they look and they don't know what they're looking. Mahagim ve'enam yodim mahagim, and they talk when they don't know what they're talking. Right? So she had an avius and she had no idea what she was saying. Ru'u shemashin sheyisob b'mayim hu like it. They saw the, what do you call it? The astrologers saw that the savior for Yisrael is going to come in the water. He's going to get malchus in the water, meaning he's going to get punished in the water. So that's why they made a gezerah that all males should go into the water. Like this, they hope that whichever boy was going to be born to Yidden to save Klal Yisrael, they'll kill him before he even starts. Given the Shadyu Moshe, but once Moshe was put into the water, Amru, they said, Sulay Chazina Kihu Simona. We don't see that simon anymore because it already passed. So Batul Gzera Sayu, they were Mavatul Gzera, and they said they no longer need to have males going into drowning the males. That Moshe Rabbeinu was going to get punished because of the main Meriva, right? Because when that's the main punishment that Moshe had, because not the main, the only, that when he hit the rock instead of talking to it. That's the main Meriva that they was fighting. That's what it means when the Stanige Pare saw and they made a mistake. So basically, when Bas Pare said that this is the boy that's going to be into the water, I mean, that was the last one that was going to be placed into the water. 600,000 were people that I saved, meaning because after him, no boys were sent. Fine. Amalei Moshe Yisrael. So Moshe said to Klal Yisrael, "B'shvili nitzaltem kulchem." Because of me, because I was put into the water, I saved all the rest of the kids, all the rest of the boys. Fine. Which to hold on. Are there?
You hear me? We're good?
Yep, so far.
Hold on. It's not on speaker. Okay, fine. I apologize for all the hacks here. Fine, right. Yeah, you hear me? You good?
Yes.
Fine. Reb Chanina bar Papa Amar, we almost made it for this one. We almost made it, right? This is Esem Ve'echad is this first day of the last days, right? Esem Ve'echad b'Nisan Hoya was the 21st day of
Now, if you want.
yeah, but look at the size of all the dafin parrots. Yes, the one that they're gonna say Shira, and then this gets into the whole Bechira thing. This is what, 80 years before? How many years before is this? They're gonna say Shira 80 years from now on this day, and you're going to kill him on this day, right? Yilka b'yom zeh, is he going to get Malchus on this day? It was the 6th of Sivan. Is he going to get Malchus on this day? How could that be? Right, so we have machlokes if this was the 21st day, or this was the 21st day of Nisan, or was it the 6th day of Sivan? Rebbe Misha, yeah, fine. So we understand on the Shisha B'Sivan, so then you have the 3 months, right? Meaning when Moshe was born, we said that they hid him, they hid Moshe for 3 months. So B'Shisha B'Sivan, you have 3 months, Tamar Mar, B'Shiva Ba'adar Mace. He died on the 7th day of Adar, B'Shiva Ba'adar Noel and Moshe. And Moshe was born on the 7th day of Adar. B'Shiva Ba'adar B'Shisha B'Sivan, Tlasa Yarche. And from the 7th day of Adar until Sivan, that's 3 months. Elam Adar B'Esav Echa B'Nisan. But if the man when it says on the 21st day of Nisan, Hechi Mishkachasla, how do you find the case? How do you find the case that it was 3 months? So the answer is Oisa Shanamu Beres. Oisa was a leap year. Right, I'm saying this is hard, right, Rabban? I mean, it's a leap year. We didn't have the Torah yet, even. Right, right. So I said, Sean, no comments on that after that, right? But okay, right. That year was a leap year. Ruba Sharishan. If you have Rive of the first month, which is Adar, because he was born on Zion Adar, so the majority. Ruba Shalachron, you have the majority of Nisan. You have Emtzai Shalim, and you have the second Adar. So Mamela, that's called 3 months. Okay. So his sister, right, Miriam said to Basparai, Isha minekas min area, should I go get a woman to nurse the baby? Right? Now, why did she say from the Ibrius? Right? So what we learn out from this famous thing, and the Shulchan Aruch actually brings this. I'll call him Mitzrius Kulan. Moshe Rabbeinu, they put her into all the mitzvahs to nurse. V'lo Yanak, and he didn't nurse. Amar Pesha Asid L'daber Im Hashchina Yanak Davar Tamei. Right? Hashem said I should have somebody who's gonna talk with me. The Shechina should nurse from Davar Tamei. V'Hainu D'chsev as mi Yaredev as mi Yav and Shvua. Right? L'mi Yaredev mi Yav and Shvua l'Gemulim Echalav L'Atikim Mishadayim. Right? Those, who am I going to talk to? Those that didn't have milk, and who they were taken away from the breasts, right? So that means Hashem taught it to Moshe. The who's the one which is the Rishon that says it? The Rashba, right? The Rashba says from this that when you take tray for things, it could be metamtim the lave, right? And Shulchan Aruch brings it, I think, in Yoredei Pei Aleph. I think Simon Pei Aleph, right? Even if you have something treif that's mutter, right? It could still be metamtim the lave. Even though la halacha, it's 100% mutter for a woman to nurse the babe, to nurse to a goyish woman to nurse a kid, right? But it's metamtim the lave. So there was a fascinating shaila during Corona when there was shortages of formula. So people asked, should they rather give their kid not Chol Yisrael formula or milk from the milk bank of the hospital? What's the better of the two? Right? Meaning Chol Yisrael, if you hold Chol Yisrael, you don't know there's a heter, so then that could be metamtim the lave. Milk from a tray, milk from a goyish woman is mutter lahalacha, right? Except you have this timtum alev thing. Okay, whatever it is, that was the shaila. I don't have no recollection what I answered. Fine. So Baspari said, go. She went with his rizas like a young girl. She hid her words, right? Meaning she went and she got Moshe's mother to do the nursing, but she didn't tell that to her. Right? Can you take this kid for me? She also had Nevi'as, but she didn't know what she was saying. Helichi means shalichi, that I'm going to give you what's yours. Right? Meaning Baspare, didn't know that she was saying Nevi'as, that she's really telling Moshe's mother, here, take this baby. It's your baby. Right? Fine. And I'm gonna pay you for it. Amar Rav Chama, "Rechina loy dayan l'tzadikim shemachzirin lehen avedas." And not only do tzadikim, if they lose something, they get it back, which is here, right? Yocheved, who was a tzaddikus, got back Moshe Rabbeinu Ela shenoisen l'scharon. She even got paid. She got her cake. What do you call it? She got her cake and she ate it too. Right? Fine. Vatikach Miriam Anavia Achos Aaron. It says Miriam Anavia, the sister of Aaron. Achos Aaron v'lo Achos Moshe, was the sister of Aaron, not the sister of Moshe. Amar Rav Amri lo Amar Rav Nachman Amar Rav Malamet Shehoysa Misnava Kishi Achos Aaron. And we learn from this that she was misnava when she was already, she said Nevias before, when she was only Aaron's sister. Moshe wasn't born yet. On Talmud Aleph. By Maris, and she said, "Asida imi sheteled ben shemeshias Yisrael." My mother is going to give birth to a son who's going to save Klal Yisrael. Moshe, since Moshe was born, the smala kol bayis kula, or the whole bayis was full of light. Amar Avia v'nashka Raisha. So the father got up and kissed her on her head. Amar la biti neskayman uvostech. Your nevius was mekoyim v'kivan shetilu lo ya'ar. But once they had to put Moshe Rabbeinu into the water, Amar Raviva Tafchal Raisha, he hit her on her head. Amar la biti hechan nevuasech. Where's your nevius? That's what it means that we learned in yesterday's daf, that she stood far away. Ladas ma yastaloi. Just, you know what would happen with her, with Moshe Rabbeinu. Leida ma yeh b'stoif nevuasa. She wanted to know what's going to be with the end of her nevuah, right? Okay, so that's the end of the story with that. Now, okay, can we go to the next two dots? I mean, we're running pretty good here. Let's at least go to the next two dots. Then we could try and get most of, won't fall too behind. Fine. So Yosef's zachas. So we said that Yosef was zaycha to bury Yaakov, right? And Moshe was zaycha to bury Yosef, right? How come when the Torah was talking about burying Yaakov, it says Vayal Yosef likvaras of it, and Yosef went to bury his father. Vayalu ite kol avdei pare, all avdei pare went with him. V'hodar b'chol beis Yosef v'echol b'beis of it. So in the order, it says Yosef went up to bury Yaakov, then avdei pare, then beis Yosef and his brothers and his father's house. Right? And what about in the end when they came back? It says Vayosef Yosef Mitzrayim hu ve'echav. It says Yosef and his brothers came back. So it reversed the order. Before the Mitzrayim saw the covet of Yisrael, meaning for Yaakov, loy nagu ben recovered. They weren't noyeg covet to the Shvatim and the Shvatim's kids. When they saw the covet that happened to Yaakov, Noga ben covet, and they were noyeg covet. The sieve by Vayu ad Gairin Ha'atad. They came to Gairin Ha'atad. Gairin Ha'atad really means a threshing of thorns. The Gairin Yesh Leila Atad. Is there a threshing for thorns? There's nobody. There's nothing to produce from thorns. What it meant is that they surrounded the Aron of Yaakov with what do you call it? Crowns. Like a gairin that's surrounded with, you put like thorn bushes, like barbed wire around the land to make sure it keeps people out. Because the Bnei Esav and Yishmael and Keturah, all Bnei Avram, they all came to show respect, right? Tana, Kulam, the Melchamavo, they all came to fight. Even Shiro, Kisser Sheyosef, since they saw Yosef's crown, Talib Arana Sheyakov was hanging on Yaakov's Aron, and not Kulam, considering they all took off their crowns, but Talib Arana Sheyakov, they hung their crowns on the Aron of Yaakov. Fine. So that's the Mamela, that's where they saw the respect. Tana, Shloishim, Vishishta, Ksarim, Nitl Barana Sheyakov. There were 36 crowns hung on Yaakov's Aron. Yeah, Rashi goes through all of them, and the article has a chart. Fine. Then we get into a couple interesting Gemaras here. But I don't know if the ones before now weren't interesting, but these are certainly interesting. Right? And they made a big hesped. Even horses and even donkeys. Meaning what they did is they even the donkeys cried out, and even the chamorim. Fine. So Kivan, Shegiu, the Maris, but when they got the Maris the Beri Yaakov, also Esav Kama Yaakov, Esav came and held him up. And he said, you're not burying here. Amar Lehen, Esav said to them, Mamre Kiryas Arba, he Chevron. This is Mamre, Kiryas Arba, and that's Chevron. Bamar of Yitzchak, Kiryas Arba Zugas Hayu. There were 4 pairs, 4 couples buried there. Adam v'Chava, Avram v'Stori, Yitzchak v'Rivka, Yaakov v'Leah. And Yaakov Iu Kavra Leah B'didei. Right? So he buried Leah in his place. Right? Meaning Yaakov gave Leah his spot. Behind the Payish Didiu, and what's left over is for me. Esav saying that spot belongs to me. Armalei Zvinte, so they told Esav, you stole it. Armalahuni, he does vini bechirus. Yeah, I sold the Bechar. Shitusa. Mizvini, did I sell my child? I didn't sell being a child. They said yes. With the caver that I bought for myself. I'm sorry. The kira is a lashon mechira. They called it kira. So you did sell it. He said, bring me a letter you need a receipt. The letter is in Mitzrayim. Uman Nazel, who should go get it? Nazel Naphtali, the Kolil ki ayalta. Naphtali was very fast, like an ayal. Naphtali is like how do you call it? Like a deer? I don't know, not a deer or whatever. A ram, whatever fast animal, gazelle. I don't know. Hanoisin Imre Shvar, who says very nice things. He's a Imre Sefer, meaning he was a cipher, so he would have the receipt, right? Or he should go get it. So Chushim Brei the Don Taman Hava. Chushim Don's son, he was there. Taman means he was there. Sham V'Yikran Le Udne, but he couldn't hear. Udne from the word Eisen. He had a heavy ear, meaning he was deaf. Darmalu my high. What's going on here? Bramrulay, Kama Akiv, hi. He's pushing off the Esav's pushing off the Kvura. Adasti Naftali me Adam Mitzrayim until Naftali comes from Mitzrayim. Amr Lahu, Adasti Naftali me Adam Mitzrayim, Ye Abi Abba, Butul Bizayin, my father's father should be sitting in Bizayin, Shakal Kulfa. So he took a stick, Machaya Reshe, and he hit him on the head, and Natar and Esav's eyes popped out, and Novel Akara Yaakov, and he fell on the feet of Yaakov. So Yaakov opened his eyes and he laughed or smiled. The tzaddik was happy when he saw that he had nekama. And his feet are going to be washed with the blood of the rasha. So then Yaakov was happy. So basically, Esav was killed out, and then it was they were able to bury Yaakov. And then the Nevi'us, the Rivka said, happened. Why should I have Avelis for both of you in one day? Meaning she was afraid when she told Yaakov to leave from Esav when Yaakov stole the brachas. She thought they were both going to get killed. Yaakov would kill Esav, and then Esav's kid would kill Yaakov. Even though their death wasn't on the same day, they were both buried on the same day, Esav and Yaakov. Fine. So that's the end of that story.
Wasn't all of Esav's children? Didn't say before that there were 23 chiefs from Esav there?
Yeah.
And then it go crazy that Hushim just killed their father or grandfather?
I don't know. I don't know. Esav was alive for this whole thing. Esav, how old was Esav?
I don't know, but it seems that right. It says he was at the funeral, right? He was stopping.
I don't know. I just don't know.
We just said before that all of Ishmael's children, all of the Esav children were there.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, if Yosef wouldn't have done the kvura for Yaakov, his brothers wouldn't have been Isaac. Used to Isaac ban of Arts to Canaan. His kids carrying him up to Canaan. They said it's better that the Malachim, the king Yosef, should take care of Yaakov, he was a king, then because the rest of the Shvatim were Hadyotis. Okay, we'll stop here. I appreciate
So
it.
Yaakov,
Hey, go ahead.
so I'm not to blow my own horn, just told the Olam that you can get schusim at different times in your life. Well, my bubby's Levaya, we pulled up to the cemetery, it was lunchtime, and the guy, the hearse driver, and the other, he came back out of the office and says, we gotta wait because they're gonna have lunch. I said, we're not waiting. My bubby's not waiting. 6 goyim could eat a ham sandwiches. I said, get in the car and go drive to the grave. And I went inside. That's the cemetery we went Naftali's father is. I went inside and I told the guy, I said, you're getting your same tip, but we're burying her now. Whether you come there or not, we're burying her. I don't need you to bury my grandmother. And we went to the grave and we buried her. We didn't have to wait for these guys to eat lunch.
And they listened to you?
Yeah, they listened to me because I thought the guy got into the car and we drove to her and he drove to her state. Yeah.
That's okay. I don't know what happened to the union.
Well,
So Yaakov, would you fight with him?
Yeah, no, but I have to tell you, a guy asked me a shiloh tomorrow. There's a Levaya 12 o'clock.
and
tomorrow.
this was 28 years ago. Yeah, it was right. You're right, Avi. Yeah.
There's a Levaya tomorrow, 12 o'clock. They want to come down. They live in Rochester. They want to come down for their grandmother's Levaya. It's 12 o'clock. It's a 5.5 hour drive to Rochester. That the Levaya starts at 12. They want to know if it's mutter for them to come to the Levaya and then leave like 12:30 and drive back to Rochester.
Why would you want to be in Rochester for Yontif? That's the question.
I told him, listen, you're mutter to do it, but you better bring some matzah.
Get all the Chabad houses between Queens and Rochester.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I thought they knocked his head off. I didn't know it was his eyeballs.
Oh, so that's, I was wondering that, Taka.
Yeah, we also, I thought it was right.
I learned that he used a sword, and I thought that the stick was what they taught the preschool kids to keep it from being gory. I didn't know the Gemara said a stick.
Shiloh is the head or eyeballs, and Yaakov's eyes opening. I mean, phew.
I know, this is a pretty wild Gemara.
Yeah. You got to remember it for next year for the Seder, that's all. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Have yourselves a fine night.
Good night.
Bye.